Hey, what's up? This is part 2 of my experience at the Game Hole Con, which is the very first tabletop role-playing game convention in Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, it was great. Relatively speaking, it's been a while since I've been to any kind of gaming convention. The last serious big gaming convention I was at was unfortunately probably Gen Con back when it was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. For those of you that don't remember, yes, it used to be held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for many years. I don't know, a decade, almost 2 decades maybe. I don't know. I mean, before that it was, I think, held in Geneva, Wisconsin, hence Gen Con, Geneva Con. Anyway, so yeah, this is part 2 of my experiences. The last video, if you see part 1, I talked about running Liberation of the Demon Slayer, the module that I self-published very recently. I ran that on Friday and Saturday. Kind of, lackluster attendance, and so I was a little bit down about that, but more than made up for it on Sunday because I had total of 7 players. I had 6 players sign up, and then I kind of had to walk in a friend of mine who I game with occasionally, who lives very near to me, and yeah, he wanted to play too, and I was like, cool. So 7 players. Yeah, it went really well. I was going to mention one anecdote specifically. There was a point where a cleric, and was on round 1, he got shot at by this bone wand of this, basically a sickly purple death ray, and I rolled randomly for the people that hadn't run away. So I rolled a d6 because there were 6 people remaining who could possibly be affected or hit by this death ray, and I rolled a 1. He was the first person on my left, so he got nailed. He rolled a save, he made it, so instead of disintegration or just death, I rolled just a d6 for damage. Now keep in mind, everybody's first level, although they have more than 4 hit points. I give people a decent amount of hit points, so if they get hit once, they're not going to immediately die or go unconscious, hopefully. So he gets hit. I rolled a d6, and I rolled 5 points of damage. Now this cleric has I don't know, 8 or 9 hit points. So, he's wounded, but still conscious and alive. And go through, the whole rest of the round of combat. Come back, it's the monster's turn. So I roll the d6 again to randomly determine who gets hit. And lo and behold, I roll the number 1. For one thing, and I mentioned this in the blog post too, where I have other anecdotes, and I'll put that in the link down there of the notes for the video. So before that session, I bought some new dice. So I don't know how well you can see these, but they're kind of a dark silvery, charcoal gray mixed with kind of an aqua blue, and then I got the matching D6 dice. So yeah, so I knew since these were brand new dice that there would be some weirdness, that something would happen. I'd said to the players up front, I have a feeling that this is going to go either one way or the other. Either the dice are going to favor me or they're going to favor you. But there's going to be some strange, spooky, quantum physics string theory, dice rolling that don't really match up with our normal reality. That was just my feeling. Anyway, it did come true. There was some weird stuff. So anyway, the second round, purple death ray again. Same guy, it targets the cleric. He's like, oh, god damn. So he rolls again. He rolls a natural 20. And I'm thinking, you know, because this is my style of gaming, where I don't take anything as concrete or set in stone. You know, the whole game is unscripted and it's fluid. I try to be as flexible as possible. I try to gauge everything from, you know, the mood of the players and the game and the atmosphere of, you know, the setting and how people are doing, you know, the characters, you know, the whole thing, how it would affect, you know, the larger story. Anyway, so he rolls a natural 20, and he's like, okay, well, I save, so I roll another d6 for damage. And I knew that that extra d6 of damage could very well take the cleric out, either make him unconscious or possibly kill him, since all damage is exploding damage. Whereas if you roll the top number on a damage die, you keep rolling until you stop rolling, you know. So I just declared, and it's something that, you know, made total sense to me at the time, and I'm so glad I did, and I think from now on, I'm going to continue it. And that's, if you're rolling a saving throw, and you roll a natural 20, that, you know, you don't take any damage. Even if you normally would take half damage, or a d6, or there would be some little effect, or whatever, just no damage at all. You're completely unscathed. You know, it accidentally, you know, hit your cloak, or it went, you know, just an inch past your head or something. It somehow missed you, or, you know, the gods were smiling and they deflected it somehow, or maybe, I don't know, your body learned to absorb it through magic. I don't know. Somehow, there's always an explanation if you look hard enough. So, and that's, I don't know, and not that I'm patting myself on the back, but I was actually surprised at, like, how well balanced and intuitive and well that worked, and how, you know, because a lot of things at the table don't work the way you want them to. And you look back at the session and you're like, I could have done that a lot differently, and that would have been different, would have been better. But this worked out great, and it just naturally flowed, and it made sense, and it was great because the cleric lived, and then another round or two, they took out the monster. I'm not going to tell you what it is, just in case you encounter it, because you're playing, or you're playing Liberation of the Demon Slayer. So anyway, so yeah, it was a great session. Everybody had loads of fun. But that moment, that was a key moment in the game, and I thought that worked really well. And that's something I'm just going to bring with me to pretty much every D&D game or D&D-esque game I run. Maybe from now on. It seems like a no-brainer now, and I don't know if I've ever encountered that before or read it somewhere. I don't recall, but it seems like such an easy and obvious thing that it must, you know, I can't have invented it myself. It must have come from somewhere. Or, you know, maybe people have been using that for decades, that house rule. Or maybe it's a rule in a rule book someplace. I don't know. Anyway, the video isn't just about that. It's about other things that I saw or I bought or whatever. I met and listened to a lecture by Frank Menser and the Dungeon Bastard, which was awesome. I got some, let's see, this is a module. I got some signatures. Okay, this is from the Dungeon Bastard. He says, Venger, you're an epic badass. Use your powers for good, not evil. Game on. Bill Cavalier, a.k.a. the Dungeon Bastard, which is great. I got Frank Menser to sign a copy too, because there was a review, a very favorable review on Game Night Reviews that mentioned Liberation of the Demon Slayer in the same breath as the Temple of Elemental Evil, which I thought was an immense compliment, and yeah, I mean that meant the world to me. Anyway, so I got Frank Menser to sign both the Player's Manual and the Dungeon Master Rulebook of the red box. And also my copy of the Temple of Elemental Evil. Right there, which is great. So for the rules, I used a combination of just basic D&D and Swords and Wizardry. I also used the Dungeon Crawl Classics. Even though I'm upset with a lot of people that run the forum and one specific Google community, I still think it's a really good book. Not only for the artwork, but there are a few rules and interpretations of Appendix N and old school D&D that I really like. So I'm sure the company as a whole is good, and Dungeon Crawl Classics is a good book. But yeah, there are a lot of douches out there. On the Goodman Games forum, I don't know. I have a whole blog post about that. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but I can't post there, and people can't post anything about me or my game or my module because they'll just have it deleted, and they'll be warned by the forum administrators not to pursue that. It's weird. Just for running games for free, I got to choose from a bunch of donated Chaosium things. So I got this, the House of Relay. I basically chose this even before looking at it, just because this is such an awesome piece of artwork. But it's a huge book, too. It's just, little scenarios and modules and stuff, I guess, for Call of Cthulhu, which is a game I love. Spent a lot of money on Castles and Crusades, just because I've heard a lot about it. This is the second edition. It looked really cool. A lot of great artwork. Yeah, and then I got a good deal, too. I got probably $225 worth of books for like $150. So that made me happy. And also Jim Ward, he was there at the convention, so I met him. I got his autograph on the books. He was, he had a hand in. And, also, my deities and demigods with the Cthulhu mythos stuff. So, yeah, that's it. Sunday was great, even though Friday and Saturday were, Sunday was a great day and a great day of gaming. I had the foresight to remember at the very end of the session, hey, if you guys wouldn't mind, if you could do me a favor and write a little review of Liberation of the Demon Slayer on either RPG Now / DriveThruRPG or Amazon.com, because every little bit of word of mouth and feedback helps, not only for this one, but for the next one and other people that might be on the fence about trying it or have never heard of it. Reviews are always helpful. Whenever I am going to take the plunge and buy a new book, whether it be a module or a rule book or a set of fancy dice or anything, I always like to look on the internet for a ton of reviews on Amazon or RPG Now, or just people that are blogging about it. Just read personal reviews by people that have tried it out on their blog. Anyway, one person went ahead and did that. The very next day, I saw another review on Amazon, which was very favorable. I was very happy to see that. It was awesome. So that's it. Thanks for watching part 2. Watch part 1 if you're curious about that. And again, look at the blog post down there. I have a couple more anecdotes from that session on Sunday. That's it. Ia Cthulhu Fhtagn.